HQN Books and Harper Audio present Second Chance Spring, featuring the bonus story, Just One Look, by Joann Ross, performed by Ashley Klanac. To Jay, whom I married twice, the second time during our own real-life second chance spring. Chapter 1. From the first time he'd walked through the door of 30 Rockefeller Plaza as a 21-year-old, wet behind the ears, first-round rookie draft pick, the building had been Burke Mannion's favorite in Manhattan. The name had changed to the Comcast Building, and despite the huge LED NBC peacocks lighting up the New York skyline, to him, the building that had embodied a dream he'd been working toward for as long as he could remember would always be 30 Rock, where his adult life had begun. As the Gotham Knights quarterback, he'd entered the American pantheon of NFL players. Because, as Sinatra had sung, if you could make it in New York, you could make it anywhere. Even all these years later, as he walked beneath a large Art Deco sculpture of wisdom, he felt a surge of energy. He'd grown accustomed to that, but today it was crackling with extra tension. When he entered the suite of offices on the 56th floor, the receptionist greeted him with a chirpy, "Good morning," and a dazzling smile. A moment later, one of several minions immediately appeared to ask if he wanted coffee, espresso, a latte, perhaps? Water? With the team's blowout Super Bowl win over Washington last season, the Gotham Knights had become football royalty, and he was their tall, ripped, handsome king. Not his words, but those written in a gushing Sports Illustrated editorial. Burke knew that the headlines and the appearances on the morning talk shows, where he'd flirt, just a little, with the female anchors, talk jive with the men, and help prepare the dubbed every year best ever Super Bowl dish for the viewers at home, were all hype. As were the radio and late-night show interviews, where he'd have no shortage of stories to make the audiences laugh. Because if there was one thing he'd realized, even going back to his high school days, it was that people liked their sports heroes to not only be the best at what they did, but also be funnier and shine brighter than other mere mortals. He'd always been sure to give them what they wanted. The Knights had a dynamite publicity and social media group that sent out a blizzard of highlight reels after every game. While various sports shows might show the sacks, interceptions, and blocked kicks from weekly games, the videos coming from 30 Rock were always positive, narrated by Morgan Freeman's deep, vibrating baritone. They showed off dazzling, long-pass receptions into the end zone that had fans holding their breaths, or QB Mannion dodging an onslaught of opposing attackers, only to pull off a play no one saw coming. And if that weren't enough, nearly every game there'd be a touchdown he'd run in from the red zone when he couldn't find an open receiver. More than one sportscaster had begun referring to him as a human highlight reel. Burke knew that he'd be making headlines as soon as word of what he was considering leaked. Hell, he might even break the internet, and not in a good way. "You've got to be freaking kidding me," Sam Otterbane, the team's general manager, said. It was exactly the reaction Burke had been expecting. "No, I'm not. We've had this discussion before, Sam, several times over the years. And we've been working on the problem." From the way the guy who'd changed his life so many years ago was glancing down at the bottom drawer of his desk, Burke guessed he was thinking of that bottle of Henry McKenna's single-barrel 10-year bourbon he kept in there. "When you picked me first in the draft, you promised a front line that would protect me. I've been trying, but the cap—" He shrugged as
Sample complete. Ready to continue?